Unlock the secrets of creating a garden that sings with beauty. Discover the art and science behind harmony, contrast, and color. Welcome to a world where nature's palette paints vibrant scenes and the rustling leaves compose a soothing melody. Where gardens are not just plots of land, but living, breathing masterpieces. A world where every bloom, every stone, every ripple in the water contributes to a grand design. Journey with us as we explore the principles of garden design. Harmony, the first principle of garden design, is about creating balance and unity. This magical element is the glue that holds all the other components of your garden together. It's a beautiful dance between plants, water features, hardscaping elements, and the natural environment, all working in unison to create a symphony of visual delight. Harmony in garden design is all about the careful selection and placement of plants. It's about understanding how different plant species interact with each other, their growth habits, their needs, and their visual appeal. It's about choosing plants that complement each other, not just in terms of color and texture, but also in terms of their growth habits and ecological needs. For instance, a garden designed around the theme of woodland plants might feature ferns, hostas, and azaleas, all of which thrive in the dappled shade of a woodland environment. The similar growth requirements of these plants help create harmony, as they're all happy in the same conditions and can grow together without competing for resources. But harmony goes beyond plant selection. It's also about the placement of these plants and the use of repeating patterns and themes. A repeating pattern might be a certain grouping of plants, a recurring color, or a consistent shape or texture. For example, a garden might feature clusters of lavender plants at regular intervals, creating a rhythm and flow that guides the eye through the garden and creates a sense of unity and cohesion. Or, a garden might feature a recurring theme, such as a Japanese Zen garden, where elements like water, rocks, and carefully pruned plants create a peaceful, meditative space. Harmony, when thoughtfully applied, can transform a garden from a haphazard collection of plants into a living, breathing work of art, where every element has its place and purpose. And the result? A soothing and cohesive space that not only delights the senses, but also nourishes the soul. A harmonious garden is a sanctuary, a place of tranquility and beauty where you can escape from the hustle and bustle of the outside world and immerse yourself in the healing power of nature. So, when you're designing your garden, remember to strive for harmony, because it's not just about the plants, it's about the symphony they create together. Contrast is the spice of garden design, adding interest and depth. Just as a well-seasoned meal thrills the palate, a garden that employs contrast captivates the eye, intriguing us with its varied elements. But what exactly is contrast, and how does it play out in our garden spaces? Let's break it down. There are three main types of contrast that we can use in our gardens: color, form, and texture. Firstly, color contrast. This is perhaps the most evident, where we play with different hues and shades to create visual interest. Imagine a bed of fiery red tulips against a backdrop of cool emerald green foliage. The red and green, being complementary colors, offer a striking contrast that immediately draws the eye. Next, we have form contrast. This involves playing with different shapes and structures within your garden. Consider the elegance of a tall, slender palm tree, juxtaposed with the round, full form of a hydrangea bush. The difference in their shapes creates a compelling visual dialogue that keeps the garden from becoming monotonous. Lastly, we delve into texture contrast. This is all about the feel and surface characteristics of your plants and other garden elements. The soft, feathery fronds of a fern against the hard, rough bark of a tree trunk, for instance, provide a tactile contrast that adds another layer of richness to the garden experience. Now, while contrast is a powerful tool, it's crucial to strike a balance. Too much contrast can lead to visual chaos, while too little might leave your garden looking bland. The key is to use contrast thoughtfully, highlighting key areas without overwhelming the space. Consider your garden as a whole, and think about where a splash of color, a different form, or a unique texture might make the most impact. Remember, gardening is an art, and you are the artist. Don't be afraid to experiment, to push boundaries, and to create a garden that truly reflects your unique vision. With the right balance, contrast can enhance the beauty of your garden. So go ahead, play with contrast, and watch as your garden transforms into a dynamic, captivating space that is a joy to behold. Colors are the soul of a garden, influencing mood and perception. Each hue has its own personality, its own emotional weight that can dramatically alter the feel of your garden. Let's dive into the vibrant world of color theory and see how it can transform your garden into a masterpiece. Color theory isn't just about picking out pretty hues. It's about understanding how colors interact with each other, how they influence our emotions, and how we can use them strategically to create a certain mood or atmosphere. Think about a monochromatic color scheme, where different shades, tints, and tones of a single color are used. This creates a soothing, harmonious look, ideal for a tranquil retreat. Picture a garden full of different varieties of lavender, each a slightly different shade of purple. It's calming, isn't it? Now, let's consider an analogous color scheme. This is where colors that are next to each other on the color wheel are used. Imagine a garden transitioning from the fiery reds and oranges of autumn leaves to the warm yellows of marigolds. It's a seamless, natural transition that provides a gentle visual journey through your garden. And then we have the complementary color scheme, where colors that are opposite each other on the color wheel are used. Picture the vibrant contrast of blue delphiniums against a backdrop of bright orange poppies. It's bold, it's daring, and it's a feast for the eyes. But remember, it's not just about the colors of the flowers. Consider the colors of your foliage, your hardscape elements, even the color of your garden furniture. Every piece is part of the color symphony that is your garden. So, whether you're looking to create a peaceful haven, a vibrant showstopper, or something in between, remember the power of color. Experiment with different color schemes, see how they change the mood of your garden, and don't be afraid to mix things up. With color, you can craft stunning and emotionally resonant garden scenes. So go ahead, paint your garden with the colors of your imagination. Let your garden be your canvas and let color be your brush. With these principles in mind, let's delve into some practical tips for gardeners. First, consider the harmony of your garden. When selecting plants, remember to keep the overall theme and style of your garden in mind. Consider how each plant contributes to the unity of your design. Does it have a repeating pattern or color that ties it to the rest of your garden? If so, it's a good choice. Next, let's talk about contrast. It's all too easy to get carried away when adding contrasting elements. However, too much contrast can lead to visual chaos. The key here is balance. For every contrasting element you add, make sure there's a harmonious counterpart to balance it out. Color plays an essential role in setting the mood of your garden. Warm colors like red, orange, and yellow can create a vibrant and energetic atmosphere, while cool colors like blue, green, and purple can create a calming and tranquil space. When selecting your color scheme, consider the mood you want to evoke in your garden. Remember, your garden is not a static entity. It's a living, breathing work of art that changes with the seasons. As such, it's essential to consider how your garden will look throughout the year. For example, a garden that's bursting with color in the spring might look barren in the winter. To avoid this, try to include plants that offer visual interest in each season. Finally, don't be afraid to experiment. The best gardens are often the result of trial and error. Don't be discouraged if your first attempt doesn't turn out exactly as you envisioned. Gardening is a process, and each step you take brings you closer to creating your dream garden. Remember, your garden is your canvas. Experiment, create, and bring your vision to life. Gardens are more than just spaces. They're canvases for creative expression. Each plant, each stone, each stream of water is a brushstroke, painting a picture that is uniquely yours. A medley of texture, color, and form, your garden is a living, breathing work of art that evolves with each passing season. As we've journeyed through the principles of garden design, we've discovered that harmony is about more than just balance. It's about creating a symphony of elements that sing in unison, each enhancing the beauty of the others. We've learned that contrast isn't merely a clash of opposites. It's a dance of differences, a play of light and shadow that adds depth and intrigue to your garden. Color, the most expressive of all, paints the mood of your garden. It can soothe, excite, or enchant, weaving a tapestry of emotion that changes with the time of day, the weather, and the season. In the end, the most beautiful gardens are those that reflect the heart and soul of their creators. So, as you step back into your garden, see it not just as a space filled with plants and stones, but as a blank canvas, waiting for your creative touch. Remember, your garden is a reflection of you. It's your story told in the language of nature. Now it's your turn. Create your masterpiece.